I'm back in Guangzhou from a short trip to Beijing and getting some information about the Guangdong Provincial 2 sessions, which have been taking place here in Guangzhou yesterday and today. I'm most interested in the goals that will be set for the province in 2025 because this year has perhaps been the most challenging year to date. Now, despite challenges, the region's overall performance has been what can only be described as stellar. We can talk about numbers, which saw Guangdong's GDP reach 14 trillion RMB. That's 10% of the national total and means that my adopted province of Guangdong has been number one in contributions to GDP for the last 36 years in a row. One of the most interesting things I'm seeing is that trade with the USA is not decreasing. While there's a trade war going on in the media, it's very much business as normal, according to the USA's Census Bureau, with almost exactly the same trade numbers on a month-by-month basis in 23 and 24. So what's really going on is not what the media are telling us. Furthermore, while I'm giving praise to my home province, let me add that Guangdong contributed 40.9% to the national total of foreign trade growth. That 14.9% represented over 9 trillion yuan and made Guangdong number one in this category for the last 39 years in a row. And newly registered foreign invested companies in Guangdong grew by over 20%. Statistics like these prove that China is completely defying the narrative that they are less attractive to foreign markets. They aren't, and we're being misinformed again. These doom and gloom predictions of failure have been proven wrong time and time again, and as we usually do, we'll see Western media move on with either no acknowledgement at all or with some subheadline asking, but at what cost? The cost is this. Guangdong has once again improved in every respect. Infrastructure continues to improve, the health systems continue to improve, education in the region continues to improve, agricultural production increased. This is most important as China is aiming for food security. Unbelievably to me, the planting area of rice in Guangdong actually increased too. It's hard to imagine that a region which produces such vast amounts of manufactured products can find space to increase the annual production of rice, fruit, vegetables, and even specialized tea and ornamental plants, all indicators of a healthy and stable economy. We keep hearing about how consumer spending is down, and once again, that's misinformation. Shopping centers are full and delivery drivers are everywhere, zipping around with our consumable items. We really are in a stable market here. And what's most interesting to me is that costs aren't increasing. And I still don't understand how it is that economists can tell me higher inflation and higher interest rates are good for me. But then I'm not an economist or a capitalist. Manufacturing industries, which Guangdong is so famous for, also increased by a whopping 4.7%. Imagine that. This is a country besieged by sanctions, tariffs and trade restrictions by two of the largest markets in the world, the USA and the EU, and yet it still increases production of both agriculture and manufacturing to levels higher than both of those other markets. Although investments in real estate dropped by 17.2% in the year, we all know why that happened. It's actually better for the long-term stability and growth of the country. Chinese people can afford to buy homes. Western investors don't want to take the risk, and for the vast majority of Chinese people, that's a good thing. Furthermore, to offset that, manufacturing and high-tech manufacturing investment grew by 12.6% and 14.5% respectively. What this means is that there's now a much more solid foundation for future growth. We keep hearing about how consumer spending is down, and once again, that's misinformation. It may be slower than a couple of years ago, but it's actually up by 0.7%. Yes, despite the but at what cost reports, I'm happy to say that consumer spending in China is still growing. What a surprise. Western media headlines got that wrong again. Compare this to the UK, where real GDP fell 2 months in a row for the last quarter available. It only fell by 0.1%, and that's probably why the UK's Chancellor of the Exchequer was in China and is now hailing a £600 billion deal that the UK got to work with China. They really need it. The US didn't manage a lot better. Their GDP is set to rise by 2.8%, a little better than half of Guangdong's number and almost exactly half of China's overall number. There are people telling us China is failing. Let's compare China's numbers to the G7. As a friend of mine, John Ross, pointed out last year in a China Daily article that I've linked, over the previous 4 years, China's economy grew almost 4 times as fast as Canada, almost 7 times as fast as Italy, 11 times as fast as the UK, 12 times as fast as France, 18 times as fast as Japan, and 29 times as fast as Germany. No matter what we might read and believe from our media, the facts are there for all to see. China's system of governance is delivering. And there's no but at what cost. The simple fact is China is delivering. China has diversified domestically from real estate to high tech. It's diversified internationally from global north to global south markets and will continue to grow with stability. This is all because the government at these meetings sets policies that work. They've optimized the investment environment, which reduces costs for businesses, including various fee and tax reductions. They provide significant support for high-tech manufacturing and advanced manufacturing, leading to relatively high investment and growth rates in those areas, which adds considerable value. And they've introduced new policies which have had positive impact on consumption, resulting in relatively fast increases in corporate profits. In short, we can be sure we're going to see misleading headlines. But if we keep our eye on the Chinese media and government briefings and see what goes on in these important meetings, we'll learn the truth. China's growth is outpacing and will continue to outpace the rest of the developed world.